Okay. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, Christina. It's so great to see you.
Yeah, I'm grateful to have this conversation
I'm
with
excited about what you do, and you're just so wonderful at branding, and I'm so excited to be working with you.
Thank you. Well, I wanted to introduce you, Barbara Rose Brooker, who you are many things, an age activist, a teacher, a writing teacher, painter, poet, author. How many books? 11 published?
I published really 12 with the new one that came out this year.
That's
12.
amazing. 12 books.
12 books, yes. The first one was published in the 80s. So it's been a long career.
And what is your writing about? I mean, all the different.
Well, you know, I always, even the ones from years and years ago, have a string of a woman trying to find her truths, always coming of age, always about ageism, and always about love and what it is. I explore love.
And why have those themes, you know, been important to you?
Well, I guess because I've made such a mess of love in my own life. And I just think love is really what everything is about. Love of self, love of others, having compassion for others and empathy, and not being so judgmental, and really finding the self at any age. Everything is possible. So at different decades and ages and different books, I always have that string, you could say, holding the stories together.
Love and age, and reflections of age at different points in our lives.
At different points, absolutely. Because, you know, people in our culture, they think, okay, you're 30, you have to be a certain way. Okay, you're 50, okay, it's all over. 60, you better take a cruise to Alaska. 70, you better get assisted living. I'm 84 and I want to be a movie star. And I don't really think about the number. I don't define myself by number, and I don't define others by number. I have friends from their 20s through their 90s, but unfortunately we live in, I call it an anti-age culture, where we segregate and define people by the numbers. So
why do you think we do that?
I think a lot of the reasons are because we have a very negative, fearful age attitude in America. And I also feel, as an American, that we have not really, we're a young country still, but we have not developed sociologically in a strong way like other countries. And we still base everything by and define people by race, by age, by gender, by sexual orientation. And I think it's sad. I mean, I may not live to see it, but I'm hoping that in generations to come, we'll be a much more unified society and culture. And that's why I write books, because my books don't have, when you see one of my novels in the stores or on the sites, you don't see 84 on the cover. Do you know what I'm saying? You either like my books or not. It has nothing to do with my age. By the way, age has nothing to do with the person. It's just, you know, it really doesn't. I mean, you can have 4 40-year-olds in the room, and each one will be in different stages of development, wisdom, talents. So you asked me, why do you think America is this way? I think like I say, sociologically, we're backwards still. We're getting better. We're getting a little better. Thank God for the Black Lives Movement right now. But look what it's taken to get there, watching lynchings on television. and police getting off on these crimes. I mean, we're so behind still. So I write books to hope a little they will get better.
And then you've taken sort of it on as a personal mission to become an age activist, or maybe you've always been that throughout your life to sort of.
Well, I wasn't a conscious age activist. I even hate the word activist because it's become like, oh, I'm an activist. I think everybody's an activist in one way or the other. But I did, as a divorced single mother, when I was 31 years old, this was in the 70s, I went to college. I wanted to get my master's and my teaching credentials. So I went back to college as a single mother, and believe it or not, in San Francisco, at San Francisco City College, I had to wear a Velcro name tag that said reentry woman on it. I was considered old, and I was like 31 years old, yes. The time I got my master's and went through all the years of college, because I was a single mom and I was working too, I was in my 40s. Then I published my first novel at 49 years old.
Really?
And I was already considered old. I mean, I remember things like a publicist saying to me, you know, it's really going to be hard to market you personally, although we love the novel. It's going to be hard to market you because of your age. You know, and it's been that way every decade. Every decade.
And I imagine it's gotten worse every decade.
Oh, much, much worse. I mean, one of my last novels, The Viagra Diaries, was optioned by HBO and Darren Star, who wrote Sex and the City, and he had Goldie Hawn, and it was all ready to go into pilot form. And I looked at the script, it had nothing to do with my novel, The Viagra Diaries, which was about a woman 70 looking for sex and love. He suddenly made her 40-something, you know, blonde with big boobs, an interior designer. And that went down the tubes. And then CBS picked it up and they made her, I don't know, a foodie, a chef in her 30s. That went down the tubes. CW made her an avatar at 32. And that went down the tubes. So Hollywood is so disgusting when it comes to ageism and what they show on TV. That's why I wrote my just released novel, Love Sometimes. I wrote all about what Hollywood did to the Viagra Diaries and age. And age is treated like a disability in our country.
And especially I think for women, as women get older, I think we become more invisible, when actually, in my opinion, that's the time when we need more visibility. I mean,
absolutely.
Because of the wisdom that we've amassed over the years, and not that the younger generations don't offer value. I think that they do, and I think bridging those divides are wonderful. But like, a woman, as she gets older, has so much wisdom to offer the world.
Absolutely. Not only the wisdom, but like in Europe, for example, the women who are in their 70s and 80s and 90s, they don't equate age with appearance in the way we do. Yeah. They don't mutilate their faces and have lips that are huge. They're not even lips, and distort their faces, you know. They have a beauty that comes from inside, and glamour and style, as you know, is not dictated by fashion.
No.
It's dictated by how you approach, it's your own style, how you feel about a fashion, how you're going to wear it, and maybe change it, and whatever. It's creative.
Yes, and it's a question of self.
It's a question of self.
Yeah. And then expression, like, you know, how you dress, how you show up in the world is the way you express yourself.
It reflects who you are. It's not about, and you know, I'm not knocking beauty products, and I'm not knocking Botox. I mean, you know, I wear scarves to cover the jowls, but it's too hot today to wear the scarf. You know, I mean, I have my little vanities, but I have personally never been interested in any of that. But I think, you know, if certain things make you feel better, fine. I use moisturizers. I'm constantly changing them, shampoos. What I'm against is the message that unless you do this, that, and the other thing, change your lines, color your hair, you're not going to have a happy life. That's the part that is tragic to me, because I see women who look ridiculous from their 30s all the way up, especially the women my age who are doing work. They look freaky. And then the label age appropriate, that has to go. We have to legislate not to have that. I say be age inappropriate, because
I love
then you
that.
see yourself, you know, like they tell you you can't wear long hair if you're over 50, or you need this or you need that. And I'm letting mine go to the waist, because the COVID came and I couldn't go to a salon anyway. So now I'm just going to let it grow to my waist and have fun with it, you know.
Yes.
I mean, people just have to feel good about themselves or trust themselves. And if they don't, if the listeners out there don't, then join my age march. Join this movement where women and men are of all ages.
Yes.
Of all ages. Whether they're 16 or 60, are going to come together from around the world and look at age as a gift. I mean, we're aging every single minute. That's why there's no such thing as an age activist or an age. Don't you love it when they say these authors are on these talk shows now holding up their books on how to age, and you know, it's become like a real competition now rather than a movement.
Yes.
And they're holding up their books and they're calling themselves age experts. No one is an age expert. We're all age experts because we're all aging. And that's why I even hesitate to call myself an age activist, because it's become such a cliche.
Yeah. And so what is the age march?
So the age march, okay. And I had a dream, Christina, like Martin Luther King had a dream. I had a dream where thousands and thousands of men and women and children and dogs and all ages were marching to music and holding slogans and chanting that had to end age discrimination, to end age segregation, stereotyping, age shaming.
Yes.
That we would all work together. Like I have a lot of energy and experience. Every time I've applied for a job, even with all my credentials and field, everything's fine until they find the age. And then suddenly, oh, I'm so sorry, you're wonderful, but we hired someone else. It's, you know, to end this age negative anti-age attitude. So I formed my first age march in 2010. And hundreds of people showed up. It took me a year to get it together because I had to raise the money. I don't have money. And I had to work with, you know, neighbors, friends, that kind of thing. But we did get it together. The press videos will be on my website in a few weeks on agemarch.org. And then I gave about 5 age marches. The last one was 2016. And then I decided I can't do this anymore. It's too much work. It was like pulling teeth to get, quote, an age activist to endorse it. Now suddenly they're all, you know, everyone is doing their age activist websites, which I'm delighted about. I mean, I'm delighted that it's coming out there. But I decided when the COVID came, the pandemic, I am going to give the first global virtual age march in history. And we got Revitalash, L'Oreal, to sponsor and fund it. We have major Hollywood producers who are producing this first virtual march. That will be March 6th, 2021. And I'm so happy that I contacted Christina, whom you're all listening to help with the branding of it, to bring in her younger demographic and to promote, because, you know, I can only do so much, and I just don't want when they hear Age March to think, oh, it's just older people. No, it's everybody, because look how we trash young people. We say, oh, they're not experienced. Or how about the 30-year-olds who told me at one of my marches, they work for Google and all the big, you know, startups in San Francisco, and they said they're being kicked out at 30 because they're bringing in the 20-year-olds, and they run on their lunch hours to get Botox so they'll look younger. And this is really true. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. And Hollywood, I'm familiar and involved in it. It's really sad what goes on in LA with the, you know, the young actors and producers and everything. Oh my God, they get Botox on their lunch hours because if, God forbid, they have a line, they're fearful they're not going to have a job. And like I say, I'm not against your individual choice if you want to look better in the products, or you think you look better. I don't think it changes anything. But if you think it does, fine. And you need it for certain things, fine. But it's become such a big fallacy. Just turn on the TV, you know, and the ads all day long, you know, oh my God, get rid of your SAG. If you have a SAG, you'll find a new life. And, you know, all these kinds of ads that are so it's not true. We have inner lives, remember? We have inner lives. It's not just Cindy Crawford's melon serum.
No.
Examining her face in the magnifying glass.
No, because when our inner world is rich, yep, age is kind of irrelevant. You know, there's so much on the inside.
It really, really is. It really is. And you have choices. I want people to feel at any age, whether you're 20 or you're 90, you have choices. And by the way, just because you're older doesn't mean you have wisdom or talent or anything.
Yes.
Or 20. But there's so many people in their 20s who are so far more developed than older people, not only technologically, which is something I feel us older people have to learn to develop technology so we can work together with the younger people. So if we can integrate each other's talents and wisdom, it would be incredible to have a world someday. Okay, I'm 84 and I qualify for this job technologically in every way, and I'm going to start working. I'm going to work with all different ages. Wouldn't that be great? Instead of you get there on the interview or on the Zoom, oh, sorry, we tried to text you, but we just hired somebody. Whereas an hour before, they were like jumping all over the place. You're just what we need. You have all the credentials we want. But then the age hit them. So, you know, it's a sad sack culture we're living in right now when it comes to that.
But it's great that you're actively trying to do something to bridge those divides, because it's people like you who are spearheading movements that will help repair parts of this country that are broken. And I mean, there are many parts that are broken, but I feel like we each can take a little sliver and do our part to make this country better. I have a question about what are you working on writing wise this year?
Oh, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to do another book because each novel takes 3 years for me to do. There, you know, and but a voice came to me a few months ago, and it takes place during the pandemic, of course. But I'm working on a book of short stories about a woman who's looking back into her past, addressing lovers in her past, and trying to find her accountability.
Wow.
And I'm very excited about it. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. And it's taking, most of my focus right now. And I'm still teaching writing workshops online to men and women 50 plus, because I have many clients in their 80s who, as a result of my classes, have published. So we have a whole group now of the ones who have published and the ones who want to publish. Yeah, I really love that. It's called Write From Your Heart. And it can be found on Facebook or Google or anywhere. And plus, I'm doing my podcast, The Rant, which is every Wednesday, and I hope you'll be on it, Christina.
Yeah. Oh my
God, talk about your age group.
You're so active. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm 40, almost 41, and you're doing so much more than most people I know. Writing, teaching, podcast, a movement.
It goes like everybody else, and it will with all ages. It goes in various, it's not all a smooth skating rink. There's been a lot of dark periods too. But I think if you just keep getting in touch with your inner life and exploring and not bogged down by, oh my God, I'm 50, it's over. Oh my God, I mean, I hear some of my friends who are in their 50s, oh my God, and I'll never meet anyone now. And oh my God, they're just, and I have some gray hair. I've got to go find somebody who's open to color my roots during the pandemic. They're panicked because they think they're going to look old. Anyway, Christina, I thank you for having me today.
Thank you. And did you mention that one of your books is now going to be on Audible?
Yes. Love Sometimes. It's published by Post Hill Press. It was published February 2020. Simon Schuster I think you'll like this book. The Audible is being released October 20th, which is in a few days, and will be available on Amazon. And most bookstores have it too, but it's easier to get it online. And I hope you'll listen to it.
Well, I can't wait to read it. And thank you Barbara, so much for...
Thank you for having me, Christine.
That you do. And I will definitely spread the word about the Age March and share those links when I share this video, and to your website as well. And thank you for inspiring all of us.
Thank you for letting me try. agemarch.org, BarbaraRoseBrooker.com. Thank you, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.